Hello and welcome to Survive the Unexpected with your host Frank Pacino, partner in crime man Brian, and James Hansen, and we're going to talk about Survivor 42, Episode 7. And this is the official merge, since last one technically wasn't the merge. Um, I feel like this episode kind of slowed down a little bit. We got a little bit of the aftermath at the very beginning from the last vote. But other than that, it kind of like started really hot, went real slow, ended like a little fast, and then it just ended.
Yeah, really quick there at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it was just kind of a predictable episode, and I could have saw that coming going in because there was like three or four options who were possibly going to get votes, which were Tori, Chanel, Romeo, and then maybe Marianne was briefly brought up, but she was like clearly the fourth. So I would say those three in particular. I think it was pretty clear one of them was going home like the entire episode, so it made it a little more predictable
Mm.
than most weeks, I think.
Yeah, it was. It kind of was like it wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't like things happened that just like ugh. It was just like you said, predictable. Like we kind of knew from last week's episode going into this week that the big alliance were going to stick together. It's now we're just going to be waiting until the big alliance turns on each other, and
That's kind of
they turn on each other. It's kind of be like weeks like this.
I think the next couple weeks might be like this. Like I think Tori and Romeo and maybe even Marianne don't have. I think they would probably be the next three to go. It might not be them three in order, but I would say like two out of the three of them will be like the next three boots. Maybe we'll have a surprise one week with like an idol or something, but maybe the shot in the dark finally hits.
Because Tori and Romeo are pretty conniving. I feel like they're like the most likely to really like play dirty, I guess if you want to say, in the game. And so to have two of them on the bottom, I think at least one of them can maybe weasel their way in there and cause some paranoia in that alliance.
I think that's
I'm really don't thinking the way this editing of the season is that this season is going to be a predictable boot season. I think there's going to be a lot of overlapping relationships and things, but I don't know. I hope not at the very least.
Yeah, like I was just saying, I think Tori and Romeo are clearly in the worst spots, and like I think, like I said, I think they'll go soon, but I think after that, it will get more interesting because I don't see where like who in that big alliance is really like who's closest to who and everything because a lot of them are promising each other shit, and
Right.
I mean, eventually you can't take everybody to the end, so.
Right.
Exactly. So the episode starts out with Marianne kind of like in her feels, like, hey, I feel like I'm back in high school, being left out of the cool kid club. And we get to see Romeo talking to Drea, and Drea kind of just dismisses him. It's kind of like crazy to think that they were like tight the first half of the game, and now all of a sudden Drea's like bye. It just seems weird to me.
Drea's like, I don't know. Like, I wish I liked Drea more than I do. Like, I feel like she's like a really good player and she's really, really like smart, but her personality is so dry. I don't know. I just don't know how to take her.
Yeah, my thing with her is so we know she's fucking loaded with advantages now. She has the idol, the extra vote, the amulet advantage, and now the knowledge is power advantage. So four advantages, but we don't really like know much about her like story is what I'm getting. Like she's basically she's the most game body like player of the season, I would say.
Mhm.
Like she does seem like a strong player. I don't think they're showing enough like character or like storytelling emotion for her to see her as like a clear winner or anything. But like if she can make it to the end, riding a majority alliance and having all these advantages that could save her from going home at like any time.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if she's the winner of this season, I really wish they didn't edit her like this. Then, like, I feel like it. Like, and you should want to like the winner. You know what I mean? I know it's not
Yeah.
possible in every situation, but I don't know. I really hope that she's not just for the simple fact of the edit she's getting.
To me, she's the person that came out there to play a game, and that's what she came out there to do. She didn't come out there to make friends. She
Like I
didn't come
said,
out there to have it.
kind of
She,
game body.
yeah, she didn't come out there to have an experience. She came there to play Survivor and try to win Survivor. And I think she's doing a very good job at doing that. But the
Yeah.
problem is in Survivor, the jury votes. And if you don't have those personal relationships, those can cost you jury votes no matter how well you play. So it all depends on that. And you know what? Maybe she is got those bonds and we're just not seeing it. We just don't know. We won't know until the end of the season and stuff like that. But it's like, it's hard to know because they can edit however they want. Survivor edits however they want, and they can change it up on a dime. Erica didn't get the biggest edit last season, so we don't know.
Yeah, and then I mean it is still a little early. Like some of the time they try to hide the winner's edit, so maybe she won't get as great of an edit until maybe like the final 7, final 8. So maybe we still got a couple weeks to go before we see that her as a character instead of us just knowing that she has so many advantages.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she's the one who says, "Let's go after Mike," and then she takes his idol and then votes Mike out?
I could see that happening.
That would be such a huge play for her. It'd be like a flashy play like Natalie Anderson did kind of with the, "Hey, did you vote for who I told you to?" type thing, and then voted play the idol. So it's one of those things that we won't know. It's still early in the season, like you said. So we could see 3 episodes towards the end where we get this huge arc from her, and I could see her winning for sure because you could tell she came out there to play the game. She didn't come out there to go camping. She didn't come out there to make lifelong friends. She came out there to play Survivor, and yeah, you could tell by her personality.
And I think too with this cast, especially with Amanda said, the people on the bottom right now, the Tories and the Romeos, they both play pretty paranoid and could try to snake their way out of a situation. So I think if someone does try to blindside her, she'll just use one of her advantages because all it takes is one person to talk and break the plan and have her feel the slightest bit unsafe. I mean, we've only got 10 people left and she has 4 advantages, so it's going to be hard to get rid of her, really.
I'll tell you right now, if Mike does go, I will be so sad. I think that
he's my favorite.
He is such a great character in this season. The edit he's getting is fantastic. They're explaining his relationships with people, and they're even doing, confessionals of other people giving their opinion about Mike. I think
he's got a really good chance to win, but
I do too. I think he has probably one of the top 3 chances to win right now.
But I can see a world where she beats Jonathan in immunity. It comes down to those 2. They vote Jonathan out. And then the next round, Mike feels on edge. And she's like, let's go after Mike. She takes his idol, votes him out. Then she has 2 of the biggest pelts in the game on her shoulder going towards the end game, which could mean loads going towards the end. And if you get to Final 4, you have a chance. Yeah. So that's all she has to get to. There's how many people are left now? 10?
10. Yeah.
So she has to get through 6 more votes and she has 4 advantages.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to get rid of her.
Very hard. And next week is a double.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, which do you think they're going to go with the 2 tribes, aren't they?
Yep.
For sure.
So we'll have 2 immunity winners.
Mm-hmm.
So probably Jonathan and someone else. If it's finally a challenge, that's for him, really.
Yeah.
I guess this immunity kind of was, but you want to talk about the reward challenge? Because that was pretty early.
I mean, he props to him for being here still without winning immunity. Yeah. Let's just say that, because we thought that he was going to be, target number 1. Everyone figured he'd be target number 1 going into the merge. There have been less threats, bigger than him that have gone because of it. So props to him for giving a good enough social game to be able to stay in and not just be seen as a physical threat.
So the reward challenge, they did the rock draw. It's going to be half and half. These compete. One person has to sit out, and they're competing for chips and PB&J. Drea or Marianne originally draws the rock to sit out, but Drea's like, I don't like PB&J. You can take my spot. Marianne's like, I'll pay it forward some other time. And so they swap. And the teams are the blue team is Jonathan, Chanel, Mike, Roxroy, and Lindsay. And then the yellow team is Tori, High, Romeo, Marianne, Omer. And at first I thought it was gonna be a blowout. When I first seen this challenge, I was like, there's no way the Orange Tribe is gonna win. But it came pretty close. Omer got down to they had to shoot balls at the end. Omer got 4 out of the 5 before, and then Jonathan just made 5 in a row.
Killed it.
Jesus, yeah. I was like, Jonathan is out here like being the strongest man we've seen play Survivor, and he's out here shooting like Steph Curry too. Like, what? And then I just heard recently on a podcast I was listening to about Survivor that he apparently was a Division I swimmer for Alabama too. So like
that makes so much sense.
Super fucking athlete.
Yeah.
So I guess after college he just decided to gain like 80 pounds of muscle, but.
Yeah, it was like, you know, reward challenge. To be honest with you, I'd rather just have the reward challenge in the Muti, and then we don't have to worry about. We can get more content with the conversations and bonding and things like that. But it was fine. And then during that time, that's when Drea found the knowledge is power advantage. It was underneath the seat, which they did put in last season. No one found. Have you seen that people are like complaining that it's saying so rigged and all this stuff?
I haven't seen that, but I think that's dumb if people are saying that. I
was like, they've done it like many times before.
Yeah.
It's not the first season. It's not like 41 was the first season they did it.
Yeah, if you play, like, if you've seen the show and you're sitting on a bench by yourself, you should probably look for, at least reach for something, you know? Like,
especially during the individual game.
Yeah.
Her reaching down to scratch her leg, that is fake. I'm sorry, but it looks so fake. It did not look real at all or authentic. I think that she either saw it and didn't know how to get herself down, or production told her it was there. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but it had to be one of the two.
I think it's the first thing he said. I don't know if production told her.
So.
I don't think production told her.
Yeah.
It was so obvious. It was bad.
No, I don't think production told her. I just think she's seen it and she went over. I honestly think if she would have known that and sat out on purpose, she would have said it in her confessional. So she clearly didn't see it.
Yeah.
Before that point, or she wasn't told, or she was told that she wasn't allowed to say it. But I don't think it was rigged because we seen with Game Changers. Like, Sarah came over from doing the challenge to steal the.
Was the first? Didn't Kelly Wentworth find it in Second Chances? Like the first challenge of the season. There was one. It was during the challenge. It wasn't on the bench.
Yeah, it was during the challenge as an idol.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Segment is fine. They eat food. Yay.
Yeah, I don't need to watch them eat the food.
You know, Jonathan was like, "Man, I need to eat."
I'd rather see him eat Applebee's than PB&J's.
Yeah, same.
I just think that
isn't it weird that PB&J is a win after Applebee's?
No, because Applebee's was the substitute for the merge feast.
That was kind of the merge feast for like half, I guess. But
so that's why. And then like nothing happens after the reward challenge. Like I think we get like one conversation and then we go right to the Muti challenge. And
we have some of Drea. Isn't it more of Drea just finding?
Yeah, just that's right. She has to stick her hand and go find the advantage. She wasn't able to. It wasn't there. That's right. I forgot about that.
Red-handed.
Yeah, caught red-handed. She had to stick it down this pipe, and there was red paint everywhere. And that's when she found it out. I just don't understand why she just jump in the ocean. She's standing right by the
same thing. Why didn't she go jump in the ocean?
Just say, "Hey, I had to pee, so I jumped in the ocean."
Said her lie to Tori was pretty bad. It was like
pretty bad.
She was doing the flag or something, and you could see the flag. There was no red paint on the flag.
Yeah.
Why would you say you had a nosebleed or something? Like something you have to think of something better than I painted my unpainted tribe flag.
I just don't. You're standing right by the beach.
Yes.
Just run to the beach. Just run to the beach and jump right in. And it'll probably wipe right off. And if anybody says anything, like, yeah, I had to pee, so I jumped in the beach real quick. The water.
Tori did see something in her pocket, though.
Yeah, but she didn't look for it until she seen the red paint.
True. Tori knows what she's doing, man. Like she is so aware. She just doesn't know how to execute it.
She's
She
just
can't
not
get no allies.
in the alliance, but she's like she's aware of the situation and she's playing the game. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, she reminds me so much of myself. No allies. But you know what the fuck's going on. You just know it's against you.
Who did she tell about it? I forget. She told somebody about it. Tori. I can't remember who she told. I think it was Marianne, maybe. No, Romeo. No,
It
it
might have
wasn't
been
Romeo.
Romeo.
But
thought
it
it
was
might have
somebody on the bottom.
Yeah.
And
Romeo
then,
freaked out, man.
yeah, and then we get to the immunity challenge, and it's basically, oh well, Jack goes up and offers him rice for like what is it, 2 days worth, right? If he's like, I'll take 4 people, but I'm really gonna ask for 6.
Yeah.
And they negotiate, they get the 4, and Marianne sits out, Lindsay sits out, right? No, yeah, Lindsay sat out.
Who?
Homer, what?
Lindsay, who?
Yeah.
Homer sat out, and then who was the last one? I can't think.
Marianne.
Oh yeah, no, I said Marianne. Marianne, Lindsay, Homer,
Drea.
Drea.
It was
Yeah.
Drea.
And then Marianne laid it on thick to hopefully save herself that round because she knows she's in trouble. And the immunity challenge went by quick. They had to use the poles to hold the ball into place.
A lot of them fell like right away.
Right away. High fell like within like a minute.
Seconds.
Second.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like you at that point you should have just sat out for the rice.
Yeah.
So I like, all right, so put yourself on the show. Would you have sat out for the rice if it was a challenge you didn't think you would do well in?
Oh yeah, for sure.
If it's a challenge I think I do well in for sure.
Mm-hmm. I look at that, but like, there's no way I'm winning that. I'm like, don't worry, I'll set up, guys. I'm doing this for us.
I think if I'm Tori or Romeo though, I'm competing in that challenge no matter what. Though.
Yeah, if you're in a really bad position, you got to play. Yeah. Marianne is on the best of the worst position.
Yeah.
But
I don't think she wouldn't have won that anyway. So like,
no.
I don't fault her for.
It came down to Tori and Jonathan, and Tori won again. And at that point, it's pretty much like there was like 3 scenes that everybody's like, Chanel. Mike's like, I gotta get Chanel out. I can't trust her, even though I voted for her the last time. She voted for me, so I can't trust her anymore.
Yeah.
His eyes was just on Chanel after that. It made no sense to me.
See, yeah, like I said, Mike has been my favorite, and I think he's playing a great game. I don't get what difference it really made to him, whether it was Romeo or Chanel that went home, and why he was so pressed on it being Chanel. Like, so I guess like he's someone who he did take that vote very personally.
Yeah,
a
and he
lot
even
more than I thought he would.
Yeah, and the thing is, he voted for her that round too.
Yeah.
So it's like he did the same thing that she did to him.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, just in case he plays the shot in the dark. That's why I voted for you, but you can't do that to me. So it just, I don't know. It was just baffled. I thought it was worse move for Chanel to go home for him than Romeo.
Oh yeah.
I think it would have way much better. Now it's just him and High. That's 2 of his tribe members, the last 2 tribals that got sent home.
If Chanel is chilling the whole time and she's not causing any ruckus, that means that she's going to be following you the next round too, because she's not putting her game out there and trying to change her game. She's just going with the flow. You need to keep someone that's going with the flow more so than the next person who's trying to game.
So Romeo starts scrambling everywhere. He doesn't believe anybody because he sees Chanel chilling. And to me, Romeo did the wrong thing in a way and the right thing. Like it's bad and good. I understand why. Like, you seen Chanel just chilling, and that's supposed to be the vote. Like, I'd be a little worried too, especially hearing my name out there. And so Homer tries to change it. Jonathan was down. A few people were down, but Mike was like, no good.
Yeah.
So,
and
Mike.
I think, the one thing right now, which is really hard for me to tell, is like there is this bigger alliance, which includes Mike, High, uh, Jonathan,
Omar,
Drea,
Lindsay,
Lindsay, Omer, and then I guess
Roxroy.
Roxroy
Mm-hmm.
and Marianne. I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's
Mary's at the bottom.
yeah. So she's at the bottom of that for sure. But like that's I guess that's a strong 7. It's kind of a random 7, but it's a strong 7. But like who's really closest with who in that group is what I'm trying. I have a hard time wrapping my finger around. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I think Rock's gonna do whatever Dre says.
Yeah.
I think Omer and Jonathan and Lindsay are close. They're
Yeah.
doing. I think they're doing a really good job of hiding that how close they are. I think.
I think Omer is smart enough though. He'll just do whatever's best for him though.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And I think Mike and Jonathan are super tight because Mike sees himself as his big physical threat for some reason. And so he feels like he needs to latch onto him, but everybody feels like they need to latch onto Jonathan, and that's not necessarily the right move, especially for somebody like High. Like I don't know why High wants to hide behind him.
So I think High's stock has sank the last few weeks, big time.
Because Lydia was for sure his girl. Chanel was literally begging High, "Hey, let's work together. I have nobody. Like, take me." Like that, and he still allowed this to happen. It just baffles
It's
my
weird.
mind
It's
how
weird.
He thinks he's way more important than what he is. That's partially part of it.
I think the stocks that fell really far are Romeo and High.
Yeah.
Omar is controlling High, and High has no idea. He's putting all those ideas in High's head, knowing that High is going to be the executor of it.
Yeah,
So,
he literally told him about doing Romeo, and High went and told everybody.
Yeah. Omar was a mastermind that round for sure.
I think it's funny too. Omar is like, all the people on the outs, like they think that he's on the outs too, like because he has a relationship with each one of them. But since he didn't have a vote last week, he acted like he didn't really know what was going on when he's really in the majority.
Yeah. So.
Doing it right. He's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Tribal, literally nothing exciting happened. High literally said that he kind of like threatened everybody, but other than that, that was it. He said, "Get on the ship or put your seatbelt on and be ready to be ran over," or something like that. And then that was it. That was the Tribal. No Van just played, no shots in the dark played. Chanel gets blindsided, which I don't understand how she did not see it coming. She literally started the episode. I'm in a bad spot. Everybody, and then she has the nerve to say everyone's playing checkers while I'm playing chess.
Yeah.
What are you playing the same?
That's a whole different game.
I think it's the opposite, girl. Like you're playing.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing too is she also had that one tribal that was a disaster for the Green Tribe, where she was like, "I can control the votes without even having one." And then it just ended up completely like not working in her favor at all. And
she's my disappointment of the season.
She didn't play very well, and the edit liked to emphasize where she went wrong too. I think
she literally that Tribal. She literally goes in she literally told Omer, "Hey, I can't lose my vote this round." And so insinuates that she's going to keep her vote, then risks it, loses her vote when she needs her vote. Like it's like a 6-person tribe, and one person in her alliance doesn't already have a vote.
It was terrible.
It's terrible. At that point, you should have switched over to High and Lydia and voted out Jenny.
It would have saved her game.
The two worst like moves so far this season was Chanel losing her vote, like risking her vote, and Daniel's tribal council performance that night.
Right after that, that whole round, and that was so I picked Chanel first. She was my first overall pick. I was picked second. I was so high on Chanel, and I was really high on both her and Daniel going into that episode. Like they had all the power going into the episode. And I've never seen somebody who had a power, two people who had a power on a small tribe lose it so fast within one tribal. Not even from an idol.
Round, yeah.
Not even from like an idol or advantage played against them or something. Like they just literally misread everything. It's just insane. But yeah, and Romeo got a few votes. Romeo voted for High for some reason.
Yeah. Chanel voted for Romeo, right?
Yes.
Romeo's vote was purely emotional. That's what that was.
Yeah.
He's voting like Roxroy was the
Yeah. We got no explanation of why Roxroy voted for Lindsay. Zero explanation of that.
I think he misspelled it. I think he was trying to do Lydia, and I think he just misspelled it and forgot who he was voting for.
I hope not.
I would die if we get an interview with him and he's saying, "Yeah, I just forgot who the vote was."
It's funny that Roxroy. I just thought Roxroy is. This isn't getting talked about enough. That Roxroy is in an alliance with Lindsay, and he voted for her last week.
Yeah. And nobody even brought it up. Like, who voted for Lindsay?
It shows you how irrelevant they are. You know what I mean? Not to be that way, but
I think so. I think the biggest goat of the season right now is Roxroy,
and then Lindsay.
I don't know though. I think people consider Lindsay a stronger player than what she is.
I think Lindsay.
We just don't have the edit to see it yet because they showed the preview of her getting pissed at Jonathan.
Lindsay will be
information.
Lindsay will be in the final 3, I think, with either Drea, Omar, Mike, or Jonathan and Luke.
She's definitely getting the Heather edit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last season they even Erica and people like that said Heather did a lot more than what she was shown, which is disappointing. You never want somebody who makes it to Final 4, you never want to see them get Purple Kelly edit if they're doing stuff.
Heather's edit was so bad.
So bad.
And it's not her fault. She was doing stuff.
Her feelings were hurt after the season.
Yeah, I don't blame her. She should be
I don't blame
upset
her
because clearly her and Erica were a dynamic duo throughout the season.
Heather could have won.
What if it was Heather versus Xander and Deshawn? Do you think Heather might have won? Oh, I have no idea.
No, Deshawn would have won, I would think.
No, I think the jury hated Deshawn.
I didn't.
Over Heather, though?
I ended up not liking Deshawn at all. I think
that was one of the worst Final Tribal Council performance ever.
Xander should have gotten a little more respect, but
same, I agree.
Story.
I don't know. I think he failed once he answered that question and said, "What did you use for your social skills to get you further in the game?" And he goes,
"Yeah,
they have an answer."
Can explain it.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it was like I said, there was not much going on. I'm excited for the double. Do you think it's gonna be 2 tribes? You think it's gonna be 2 tribes?
That's another thing to consider. This big alliance might not matter next week with the double,
right?
And I think this is a time where Jonathan might have to win immunity.
I can see that.
I would agree. I think that Jonathan could be especially if they're showing Lindsay angry with him. That's a really strong ally for him, and if he loses that could hurt him pretty bad. But they're talking about. They're talking about this all men's alliance too. That's good. That's about to happen.
But
was that the next time on Survivor?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's okay.
It was Rox, Jonathan, and I think Mike. They were all talking about. But they could put that in there and it mean nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
they're good at that.
They're good at that. So until I see it, we'll see. I feel like these guys' egos are gonna be too big to sit there and power through. And it's just, and to me, it's
really?
just
I feel like a lot of these guys have a pretty humble ego, except for maybe Roxroy.
But okay, let me rephrase that. If anybody's gonna make it happen, it's gonna be Rox. Because he's gonna think, I'm gonna be man on man and win it out. May the best man win.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm not saying I'm by no means rooting for him, but he's kind of grown on me. I'm intrigued, watching him week to week now, just seeing what he does out there, what's going through his head.
Yeah, I wish we had more confessionals of him and get some Dodo music.
I I really want to, whatever the season, whenever he gets voted out, or if he makes final three when the season's over, I want to see like listen to his exit interview with Rob. See like what what he says has to say about his game.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm very proud of it. I made the shelter. I fed them.
If it wasn't for me.
When I listened to his preseason like interview with Rob, when they like asked him what his like why are you here on Survivor, like what made you decide to apply, and he said like me and my wife were just watching the show and like it went to commercial and she looked at me and said like you could do that. And I was like that was it for me. All I needed was my wife.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I thought
hilarious.
it was hilarious.
So my draft is over. All I have left is Jonathan. I
mean, you could still have the winner though.
I could still have the winner, but to winning the points, Amanda has 3 people still, so and I don't see any of them
Is
going.
Amanda gonna win a 3rd season in a row?
I think she has. You have Drea, High, and
Omar.
Yeah, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
I have Mike and Romeo left, and I don't think Romeo's making it much further.
You might have a winner though. I think.
Yeah.
But you and me each have like a chance to win this season,
and then,
but not like win the Survivor draft.
And then I had Jenny who went like 4th. So
yeah,
my RFG one though. I have Tori.
You have Tori, and you had who? Zach and
I had Zach and Jackson that went home the first day. Me and Tony were like super similar.
I legit forget the first 3 people gone were even on this season, like Jackson, Zach, and Mariah. Like I forgot.
Mariah was even like she maybe had 2 confessionals.
I don't remember anything about her.
No. But yeah, it was a boring episode. I think we're gonna get 2 tribes of 5 again, 1 winner each. I'm interested to see how they're gonna break down. I think Jonathan could be in trouble unless he wins immunity. I feel like this is a way where Romeo, Lindsay, and Marianne could maybe stick around.
On the next episode, they're doing a double next round.
Oh yeah, I did hear about the double.
Yeah,
I didn't see like the scenes or anything.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the only way I think Romeo survives. Tori and Romeo both survive next round is if they're on the same tribe and somehow get the numbers, and one of them wins immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what are they at right now? Are they at final 10?
10. Yeah. So I kind of hope they're on the same tribe. Like one of them goes, whatever, and then the other tribe would be a very interesting tribal council if them 2 are on the same 5. It's going to be real interesting for the other 5. And that's where, like, say Jonathan was in the other 5, that might be where he has to win.
But think about this. Like, just imagine this for a moment. Lindsay, Omar, Jonathan, Drea, and Mike all on one tribe. Jonathan wins immunity. Drea has an idol. Mike has an idol. Lindsay has the amulet. Omar, Jonathan, and Lindsay are tight. What would fucking happen? It would be intense.
That would be the craziest.
That'd be insane.
We
have this episode, and then the next episode is going to be the double, so it's going to be a big episode. And then we're going to have final 8 after that. I think it'll be kind of another calm episode, probably a lot of gameplay. And then we're going to have Do or Die. And I bet a big player is going to go home on Do or Die. Would it be crazy if Drea went home on Do or Die?
I would see so like okay.
She'd be so dumb to do the challenge with
all. Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, just don't even do the challenge.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I hear a chance that I can be voted out, unless I'm going to be voted out, unless I know I'm at the bottom, there's nothing I can do. I'm not competing in that challenge.
Yeah.
No. Same.
But that's also
us knowing, 1 out of 3 chance. That is, or 2 out of 3 chance. That's too much.
That's also us knowing what it is exactly.
Deshaun got lucky.
Fuck Survivor for ruining the final 7 vote. Fuck y'all for doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ruins it.
And that changes the whole season. Because what if Deshaun was there? What Ricard might have won? You never know.
Never
What do you
know.
So,
like? What made them think that was a good idea? That's
I
just
don't
what I.
I don't know. Like, how are you okay with someone having a 66% chance to go home? Like,
and
that is at Final
For
7,
nothing.
when they've been there for how long and gone through how many tribals, that's
I,
like disheartening, you know?
So
yeah, I'd
I'll
be
just say
upset.
though, are we positive they're gonna do it again?
Oh, for sure. If they did the hourglass, they're doing do or die.
I think so too.
And they did the knowledge is power. It's literally 41.5. It's
Yeah.
literally
Some
like
better people.
they literally copied and pasted and maybe changed like one or two things on each thing.
The amulet. They added the amulet this time.
They added the amulet, they changed the hourglass a little bit, they changed the knowledge power a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's just like
They'll do
maybe
do or die.
maybe the do or die will be 2-1 the other way. We don't know.
Maybe it'll be 3 or 5.
Something stupid. Yeah, I just feel like they need to make the shot in the
Leave
dark
it
more
alone.
important.
Like Final 7 is the first vote. It would be in this season, it'd be the first vote that wasn't a potential to go to rocks in 2 rounds, over 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's important, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to you just don't want to take that away.
Yeah.
That's a line drawing vote, and you need that at Final 7. Final 7
Yeah.
votes super important.
Yeah. And literally like it could go from because like if you're in Final Four, you have 3 chances to get to the Final 3.
Yeah.
You have a chance to win immunity, you have a chance to win fire, and you have a chance to convince the person who won immunity to take you there.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot of chances to get the Final Four. So the way the game is set up, it's beneficial to have a 4-person alliance going into Final 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're gonna miss out on that because they're sure doing that again.
For sure,
no doubt.
Bet they will.
yeah. That's how Tori will survive or something, and then it'll be like the majority have to like vote one of each other out. It'll be crazy round or something.
If Jonathan goes home on do or die, America will revolt.
Yeah.
They'll be so mad.
Look, I like Jonathan more than I thought I was going to, but I don't love him as much as everybody else does. Okay.
Oh, I love Jonathan. Out of the beefcakes of Survivor, he's easily the best.
Yeah. Ozzy's dull.
Yeah.
Joe's dull.
I don't like Joe.
I've never been a big Joe fan either.
I like Ozzy, but I don't like Joe. But
Malcolm's
Ozzy,
okay. I don't mind Malcolm.
I liked
Yeah.
Cook Islands Ozzy more, and like
Same.
at once South Pacific Ozzy. Once he got to like that, I didn't really like him as
Look,
much.
all right. I don't like Ozzy, but I seen Ozzy first in South Pacific and then Game Changers. So that's the Ozzy I had the first impression on.
I saw him in Cook Islands as a kid when I was watching the show.
I was obsessed.
And I really liked him then, yeah.
Yeah,
And then once South Pacific came around, I'm like, I don't really like this.
Tell me Cook Islands as a kid wasn't a fire season to watch. It was so entertaining. I do too. Cook Islands is a top 10 season for me, and everyone gives me flack about it. But I think it's such an iconic season. It's got good gameplay. It's got a good winner.
Like top 15 for me, I would say.
I would say that some of it is nostalgic reasons, but still a really, really fire season. And I love Daddy Penner. I could watch Jonathan Penner on every season of Survivor.
Same. All right, so who would you both say? Just give a top 3, like best chance to win right now.
Best chance to win.
Yeah.
Mike is my number 1 right now. Mike with a bullet, and then Drea, and I still think Jonathan's getting a lot of great edit. So I think Jonathan. Those are my 3.
All right. I'm gonna go Omar number 1 actually, because I think he's a great player, and like there is Mike and there is Jonathan who are going to be perceived as bigger threats. I think, and it'll be easier for Omar to get to the end than those two. And so yeah, he's my number 1. My number 2, I would say Drea, just because of how loaded she is with advantages and how that could work to her favor at Final Tribal Council if she is playing a stronger social game than we see. And then I would say number 3 is Mike. I think he is the strongest social player of the season so far. And I think he's just pretty much he's made a couple mistakes, but for the most part, he's got a good read on the game. And I don't think there's anyone like that he's like if someone's a threat for him to win, I think he's going to cut them at a certain point. Like I think that I'm putting him over Jonathan because I think Jonathan's threat is just too obvious. It's just
Yeah.
like if they let him get to the end, they are just idiots.
Look, if he gets past this double, like I feel like he could be almost like number one after that point.
Yeah.
At
I
8,
don't see him going in the double, but I think final 6 to 8 is where like you have to get rid of him. So I think he does survive the double though.
How about you, Amanda?
Mine's a little bit of a mix between the two viewers. I mean, no, I think mine's pretty much the same as James's, but my order is just a little bit different. I think Mike is. I agree with Frank. I think Mike is playing the best game right now overall.
I agree. I want Mike to win. Don't get me wrong. That's who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
So.
And then I would actually put Omar second after that, just because he's like strategically doing amazing, and no one expects anything of him. And then I would have Drea third, and I would have Drea third because I feel like she's not a good liar. We kind of saw that with like the blood on her arm type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like she can get maybe crack under pressure a little bit, and I'm kind of worried about her having all these advantages and potentially wasting them when she doesn't need to, or two, like she was super willing to give away one of her extra votes when Omar didn't have one. I know she was trying to build trust, but that was like in the conversation really fast. She just said it out loud. I don't know if she was thinking it for a long time or whatever the case was, but I don't know. I feel like she can be quick, and maybe they could get to her head a little bit.
I think it would be wild to see her like get blindsided with like every one of the advantages. Like if that
would be awesome.
That would be crazy.
I think Omer is a lock to be sniped because Jonathan wins immunity and he's one of Jonathan's allies, or he's gonna lose that final four. I just feel like Omer
see Lindsay as Jonathan's number one ally, though.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just fear for Omer that it's gonna be one of those times that with those 8 to 6 rounds, Jonathan wins immunity. Like we gotta cut Jonathan down.
I think Omer is gonna turn on Jonathan though.
Yep. I think so too. They've already highlighted on how he has a good relationship with all the bottom people too. I don't see them turning on Omar.
Like to me,
we'll see. That's why I feel.
So he said this in his preseason thing, and I thought it was funny because it was with Rob C, but he was the only one who compared his gameplay to Rob C, and I think he's playing a lot like that. Like because Rob C in his season was in the majority alliance, like totally, but he also had the relationships with the bottom feeders, and he was able to use the bottom feeders to get out some threats like at certain points, and then still able to finagle his way back in with the majority. Like he was just excellent at like at a certain point flip-flopping like every other vote, and I could see Omer pulling that off, and that would be incredible if he could do that. Because
I'm just worried with this guy alliance potentially happening, because that means Lindsay's out of the picture. Then Omer could be one of those guys that is sniped because Jonathan wins immunity. Like at the 8 to 6 range, if he wins one of those crucial immunities, and say, what if High and Drea want to keep Lindsay because of the amulet, because they trust her more because of the amulet, and then they want to go after Omer to weaken Jonathan. I'm just saying, I feel like something like that's going to happen to Omer, where it's like, damn, like that sucks.
It's very possible too that High voted Lydia off because of the amulet.
What do you mean?
Like to show trust to the other two people that have the other amulet. Yeah.
So, well, we don't know for sure, but I'm excited for the double. I hope we don't get the majority where they could just have the majority in both rounds, and like we get like Romeo and Tori elimination.
So you're saying most boring scenario is that Romeo and Tori are separated, neither of them win immunity, and they both go home.
Yeah,
that's like the predictable thing.
I hate separate tribals during merge. I absolutely cannot stand it. I think it's horrible, and it messes with the game, because if you have, let's say for example, like let's use our fantasy football team as an example, okay? Because there's 10 of us in there. So instead of let's say me and Frank are on the bottom, and like Tony, Reeland, James, and Hector are at the top, okay? If they split tribal, and say me and Frank are on the same tribe, we're not the next two to go home now. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
someone else out of order, how the game would naturally flow is going to go home. I understand that's part of the game, like it's a twist of the game, but it screws with alliances and it screws with the strategic and social part of it, because instead of me and Frank going home like we're supposed to, rounds, 10 and 9, now it's going to be, possibly Frank and James, or Frank and, Bird, or anyone that wouldn't normally go that round, and it potentially could change the rest of the game based off of how many people are left. I think that I hate doing separate tribals during
They've done
merge.
it. I think every time they've done it, they've gotten a really good blind side, so they're going to continue to do it.
I know. It makes great television, but for
You're
me,
muted, James.
if I was running the game, like say I was in a power position and running the game, and they split tribal up like that, that shit would make me so mad,
Oh yeah.
because it would fuck with all the plans. And then you have to recircle again, make sure everyone's on the same page. It just, I don't know. I think
Would you feel a little bit better about it if, say, like some of the more recent seasons before 41, they would merge at 13? If they did it at 12 and 11 instead of 10 and 9, would you feel a little bit better about it? Because like two
no,
6.
I don't like, the smaller it gets, the worse it is for me, in my opinion.
No, that's why he's saying. Would you like it
saying,
better?
would it be
12
better
instead of 10?
if they did it at 12 instead of 10?
Yes. Yeah. If it was like 6 on each, yeah, I'd feel better about it.
See,
But like you all make merge, you go like literally one round, and then you're already doing a double with the split tribal. Like that's too much. That's
like last season, we got to see Ricard and Erica's relationship really establish at the split tribal, where Erica was able to convince Ricard, hey, roll with me and Heather, and was blindside Nasir, and that's what happened.
yeah.
They got a great blindside of that round. Island Idols, they were trying to get Tommy out. Tommy was able to maneuver his way, and then he blindsided another person. And I think that happened in Edge as well. I think there was a blindside when Edge did it too. They're going to continue doing it because they've gotten great results.
So I think that Tommy one, that was like his winning move of the season, because he got essentially screwed by the twist.
Yeah.
It looked like he was obviously going to go home, and then he ends up flipping the vote onto Missy instead, and basically had control of the game from there on out. So
from there on out, yeah. So they're going to continue to do same thing with Erica. Erica did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll clarify too. Like, I don't mind the double immunity and the double. I think that's great. I think going from 10 to 8 is a kind of decent spot. I love the Final 9 vote, but going from 10 to 8 isn't that bad. I would prefer 11 to 9, but that's just me. I think it's not too late, but it's, I don't know. I just don't like doubles during merges, I guess. I want to see everyone be able to play out a normal round of Survivor.
I'd rather see it naturally play out too, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like, trust me, there is far more, like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but there's much more wrong with what they're doing now, like with the hourglass and the do or die.
I have a much bigger problem with the hourglass and the do or die than I do with the split tribal.
Oh, same. Yeah, same.
Because that literally takes.
But they've done this before in Survivor, so this isn't new. This isn't like a new 42 or 41 twist. They've done split tribals at merge before, and I'm just not a big fan of it. I just think it messes with the game too much.
It brings. It's always brought good TV. They're going to continue to do it.
Oh, for sure.
What's the first season they did this in? Is what I'm trying to remember.
I think they did it in Edge. Was that the first time they did it?
They might have did it in Ghost Island. I don't know why.
I don't remember Ghost Island. I'll be honest with you. I watched it one time, did not like it. I can't remember.
I know you didn't like it, but I think they might have did it in Ghost Island.
Oh, let's say congrats to OJ. He just won Premier Survivor org. Nice. Yay, OJ.
Yeah, he had Jester with him, so Jester is his simp. So
Jester got third. You got a vote though.
Love you, Jester.
Love you, Jester. We do.
But yeah, I think they're gonna. I think it was Edge, if I wouldn't be mistaken.
Now that I remember,
where's Schaefer when you need him? Message Schaefer and ask him. He would know some shit like that.
No, I think they did it in Ghost Island because I think that's what.
Oh, they do it in Ghost Island.
Michael's the good-looking guy who's
We can't hear you, James.
I said.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in Ghost Island, when Michael, the good-looking guy who was like 18 or like 20 or something, like dude who was like a model who
Michael Yerger.
Yeah, Michael Yerger. Yeah, I think he went home on one of the split tribals. I want to say
Okay, well, Ghost Island so was that 38?
36.
36. And
I get 38 and 36 mixed up all the time.
Edge is 38, and
Yeah.
then
David
IOI
versus
is
Goliath
39.
37.
Yeah.
I know they didn't do in David vs. Goliath.
No, they definitely didn't.
No.
So I've seen that season like 4 times. So.
Yeah, and they didn't do in
rewatch
Winners
that
at
season.
War either. So yeah,
I have it kind of low in my rankings compared to other people. I just need to rewatch it.
Look,
David Goliath.
Yeah, David versus Goliath. I have it like 12.
I was hooked watching it live.
I loved it. Yeah.
I was so hooked. Every week, me and Mariah were freaking out. Every vote.
I wish I would have seen it live. I think I would have liked it more if I'd seen it live, but I watched it.
It was just so intense watching. It's like, holy shit, what's happening? It's
I think so many people from that
Frank
season
literally followed me on my journey of rewatching Survivor from Palau on, dude. He picked up with we met during me watching Palau, and he was like so intrigued because I was spoiler free for the most part.
Yeah,
the only winner I knew about was Ben because I spoiled myself. I'm pretty sure.
So when I stopped watching, it was probably from like I would say like 27 to 38. I didn't watch live. Like I think when Cochran won the Fans vs. Favorites, like I didn't hate him, but I just thought that was like kind of a shitty season. I was in high school.
It was a bad season.
I was in high school and I was like, like I was a senior in high school. I think I was like, I've got a lot of more important things than Survivor. I was kind of getting like stale on the show.
Yeah.
And then like 3 years ago, 2019, while Edge of Extinction was airing, I went and like I think I was just on Hulu and I just decided to watch Heroes versus Villains, even though I'd already seen it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and watch 27 through 38.
Yeah,
because I'd never seen any of them. And but like a few of them, I was a little spoiled. Like I remembered that Tyson won because that was the season after I stopped watching. And my brother still watched it, and I remember him telling me, "Oh yeah, like Tyson won." It's like I knew that, but besides that, I didn't know who won 28.
I had no idea Tyson was a winner. I was able to watch all 4 seasons of Tyson without finding out.
But do you guys
by that point?
You guys have anything else to say about the episode?
No, wait. Oh no, yeah, I'm right.
So who? Like, are we all in agreement that, like, I mean, it's hard. We can't really predict a boot for next week because there's going to be 2.
Mm-hmm.
But will you guys say, like, at least one of Tori or Romeo goes home next week? Is that a guarantee?
Most likely.
I'd rather see Romeo go than Tori.
Me too.
I think one of those for sure is one of the boots. And then we're going to get one of the big alliance in boots.
We're going to get one good tribal and one boring tribal.
Yeah.
I can see it.
But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Give us a like, subscribe, means a lot to us, and we'll be back next week with the double tribal. Hopefully it's a great episode because this episode was kind of mid. So
are we gonna do Marquesas next
Sunday
next week?
Yeah. So yeah. We'll get back to you. We'll get Marquesas out. I was in the hospital, so it got delayed. Sorry. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Thank you.